Alright, now I'm reporting from the bird sanctuary, which is near Fort Morgan, the Fort Morgan Peninsula. And I just wanted to show you what I was found here at this Gulf. Now, I know one of the things I'll say repeatedly, and just to reinforce, I know not everyone's going to look at every video, so I emphasize, I, like you, often have the question, is the media just showing us the worst thing that they can find? And so I'm showing you just the video that I walked up to the beach and found. This is a beach. There's no one else. I think largely the only footprints you're going to find on this particular beach are my footprints, because the workers were called in. They were no longer that spot there in the foreground, by the way, is all oil. It's a very thick patch of oil. So you can see from when the hurricane blew through the Gulf. Remember, this isn't a hurricane that hit even the United States or 500 miles away. This hit way down in Mexico, but it stirs up the Gulf. And you can see the just from that type of a storm surge, those types of waves, and you can still see the aftermath in the waves there. This is the kind of deposits that we've got on the beach from a storm that made landfall. I presume, I haven't measured it, but let's say it's close to 1,000 miles away from Gulf shores. And here are all the little tar ball spots that have been dropped all along here. Now, this beach was being actively cleaned because when I came up, there was all sorts of equipment that was still in place that would be consistent with the ongoing cleaning effort. What they did, they called all the workers in because of the storm, and we've had some bad weather, and so they basically had shut down at least much of the cleaning operations for a while. Presumably, now that the weather has passed, that will recover. But you see, there's tar all over the place. Also, while I was there, I did have to walk about a quarter of a mile, I guess, because I saw that there was a sea turtle nest here. I knew what that looked like because of the orange banding around it. So I thought I'd just come take a look at what does the sea turtle's nest look like, and you can see that this sea turtle's nest is littered with spots of tarball, and this is just the stuff that we see on the surface. That doesn't include anything that's actually buried in the sand at this point, because this oil has been coming ashore for about 2 weeks now, and the area has been being actively cleaned. So we don't really know what we would find under the surface, and I won't speculate on that, but we do know that this is just what we see on the surface itself. You'll also notice the waves coming in. One of the things I can see with my naked eye that you can't see is kind of the just chocolatey, cloudy color of it, and I know sometimes the water is similar to that, but I can tell the little bit of the difference in sea to the soil. This is just an example of the tar balls that are out there. Some of them are bigger, smaller, but basically they look of this consistent. They looked a lot drier last week than they do now, and even though this was not a particularly hot day, in fact, I've taken pictures of tar ball when it was 100 degrees out. Today I don't think the temperature really got out of the 80s because we had so much cloud cover. And so that's what I saw when we went down to this wildlife refuge. Primarily it's a bird sanctuary, but that's what I saw when I went out there on the beach. And like I say, I just walked up to the first place that I could get beach access as I was coming away from Fort Morgan. So I was all the way west on the peninsula at Fort Morgan, started heading east. The very first stop I could come to, I said, let me just get out and see what that looks like here. Alright, another thing I wanted to show now, one of the things that struck me was with all the oil that's been coming ashore here, it didn't appear that oil was actively creating tar balls right now. And I tried to understand why that was, because I could see some patches of oil out there in the water. And it's because these waves are so strong that they're beginning to break even before they get to the beach. So they're really, the reason you're not getting the tar balls, best that I can tell, this is just my kind of educated guess, is that you'll see the water breaking there closer out to the horizon. So that's a couple of 100 yards offshore. So this water is getting tumbled and turned before it actually makes the actual beach fall. And so the oil gets mixed in with the water, and so that's why it has that really good chocolate milk consistent look there to it, because it's been all stirred up. And so you're not getting a nice slick coming ashore and binding with the sand to create the tar ball. You're just now getting all mixed up, which in my view that's a harder mess to clean up than it is to clean up the tar balls off the beach. I'd actually rather see tar balls on the beach, because at least then it's sort of all clumped together. We can see it. I believe separating it from the sand will be a heck of a lot easier than trying to get these microscopic droplets that have now been churned up with the seawater. So that's what I saw, again, walking up just to the very first place I got after I got away from Fort Morgan.